The most terrifying and controversial prisons in the world. The prison is a very scary place, and you cannot judge it unless you try to live behind one of its bars. But the perpetrator does not think well before committing his crime. Will he be able to sit in one of the most horrifying and controversial prisons in the world? 1 Camp 22, North Korea. I do not think anyone will commit the crimes after seeing this prison. He gained his fame in 2012 when more than 5,000 prisoners were subjected to the worst forms of torture. 2. The prison of Carandiru, Brazil. The tragedy in this prison was in 1992, when riots caused mass executions of prisoners, and nearly 1,300 prisoners died. 3. Palmyra Prison, Syria. It is regrettable that one of these prisons is Arab. This prison is considered one of the most repressive prisons in the world. There was a massacre here that killed 800 prisoners. 4. Kwan Prison, Thailand. This prison has the worst living conditions of prisoners. In addition to overcrowding, it suffers from a lack of all life requirements. 5. La Sapanita Prison, Venezuela. The prison has earned a reputation for its brutal treatment of its inmates. Among all prisons in South America, medical care is poor and hunger is widespread. 6. Rodeo Prison, Venezuela. The Hugo Chavez era was one of the most criminal. In 2011, 50,000 prisoners were killed by gangs. 7. Supermax Prison, Colorado. This prison was built with maximum security. The most common method of torture here is psychological torture. Sometimes, some of the prisoners end up committing suicide. 8. Diyarbakir Prison, Turkey. Numerous strikes inside this prison have been a protest against ill treatment, methods of psychological and physical torture and sexual assault. 9. Gitarama Prison, Rwanda. This prison is called Hell of the Earth by some prisoners, and gangrene spread here, and prisoners spend most of their time under the sun and get food with difficulty. 10. Alcatraz Prison, San Francisco, California. This prison, known as the Devil's Island, was built to house criminals who committed fraud since 1920, and was designed to prevent criminals from escaping in any form to be surrounded by water. Most prisoners were raped in this prison. 11. La Santé Prison, Paris. Santé does not mean health, but this is far from reality, and prisoners were subjected to severe physical and psychological torture. In 2002, 122 prisoners committed suicide as a result. 12. Skinny Prison, Georgia. In Georgia, a policy of ruthlessness is followed by prisoners. Prisoners also suffer from tuberculosis, some epidemics, and rape behind bars. 13. San Quentin Prison, California. This prison is one of the oldest prisons in the state of California, and has many problems. 14. Rikers Island Prison, New York. This prison lost its reputation after the death of an 18-year-old man under the hands of a guard. Treatment in this prison is very harsh and sometimes leads to suicide. 15. San Juan de Regencio Prison, Peru. In this prison, prisoners are able to sell anything like drugs, movies or even electronics, but the murder in this prison is widespread. 16. Urazera Prison in Baidik, Russia. There are no water facilities in this prison, and the situation of prisoners deteriorates every day. 17. Black Beach Prison, Equatorial Guinea. Brutality, starvation and overcrowding are all in this prison. Some prisoners die by separating chronic diseases and some disappear. 18. Nairobi Prison, Kenya. It was supposed to send 800 prisoners to their homes, but the number reached 3,000 in 2003, and physical and psychological health is constantly deteriorating. 19. Butyrka Prison, Russia. This is the largest prison in Moscow, and given the massive prison population, a number of prisoners are placed inside the cell above the allowable. 20. Kamiti Prison, Kenya. Prisoners suffer from the worst conditions in this prison, and the lot is spread here, and some prisoners are beaten to death.